A day dominated by the secondary. I was at LSU football practice Tuesday. I'll tell you what I saw. It's Locked on LSU. Here we go.
You are Locked on LSU, your daily podcast on the LSU Tigers. Part of the Locked on Podcast Network, your team every day.
Okay, let's get it. It is Locked on LSU, your team every day. I'm your host, Matt Moscona. Thanks so much for making us your first listen. We are free, available wherever you get podcasts. Of course, on YouTube as well, so please subscribe as always. One of the fastest ways to help us grow is by leaving your comments below. So thank you sincerely for that. Thank you for being here with us. If you're new, welcome. Every time LSU's on the practice field and they give us media availability, I go to practice, I give you a practice report. That's what this is. So today was day 11. I have day 12 on the rundown right there. My apologies for that. We'll get that fixed. Today was day 11, but it was August the 12th for the LSU Tigers as they were out on the practice field. And this was a day that was dominated by the LSU defense. In particular, it was a day that was dominated by the LSU secondary. We're going to run through all of this. We got to see, and just the way it was structured, about a 2-hour workout today, but we only got to watch about the final 45 minutes, and it was all outside. And candidly, I'd prefer that because the end of practice is when they run 7-on-7 and 11-on-11. And really, that's where we sink our teeth in. So I charted every play of 7-on-7 and every play of 11-on-11. So I'm going to get to that. Big picture takeaway, though, from Tuesday was the secondary really had one heck of a day. When they went 7-on-7, there was 4 consecutive checkdowns, and five of the 18 plays were checkdowns. So understand, in 7-on-7, there's no line of scrimmage. It's quarterback, running back, receivers, and then linebacker, defensive backs. It's 7-on-7. And so when you're checking down, it means there's good coverage in the secondary, so the quarterback just has to get an outlet and dump it off. And there was a sequence of 4 consecutive plays where Nussmeier checked down to, Van Buren checked down to Caleb Jackson. Nussmeier went in, checked down to Caleb Jackson. Hurley went in, checked down to Harlem Berry. Then Hurley checked down to Donovan Green. And then later, Nussmeier checked down to Juwan Johnson. Great play. Actually, great catch there by Juwan Johnson with Devon Keys in coverage, but another check down. Point being, the secondary had a really nice day. Similarly, the receivers had some struggles. The first play of 7-on-7, Caden Durham had a drop. 83, Teron Francis, who's made some of the most spectacular plays so far in fall camp, had a drop on the last play of 7-on-7. So they actually bookended 7-on-7, first play, last play with drops. So there was a little bit of an issue. Kyle Parker had a drop today as well. That was in the, I'm trying to see if that was 11-on-11 or 7-on-7. Looking through my notes, Kyle Parker's drop was in 7-on-7. So there were 3 drops. So in the 18 plays, you had 3 receiver drops, and you had 5 checkdowns. So 8 of the 18 plays were checkdowns or drops. It was a really good day for the LSU secondary. And if you were here for the previous episode, and shout out to all of our everydayers, we played a soundbite from Blake Baker where he talked about, he talked about going through the evaluation still and getting guys experience because they're rotating so fluidly on the defense that they really haven't made a lot of determinations on who are going to be starters against Clemson. I've told you my feeling. Like, Harold Perkins is going to be the star. Whit Weeks is going to be one of your linebackers. I think A.J. Halsey is going to be one of your safeties. Everything else feels like it's up in the air. Like, I think Stamps and Mansoor Delane are going to be your starting cornerbacks, but I wouldn't be surprised if DJ Pickett wins a job, or if P.J. Woodland, who's played a ton of football, wins a job. So that all remains to be seen. A couple of other notes. Full pads. They were back in full pads after being in helmet, shoulder pads, girdles on Monday. Tuesday was full pads. They did work some more special teams. Interestingly, they are rotating at holder. So we've seen Grant Grant Chadwick, the transfer from Middle Tennessee, the punter, as the primary holder. But we also saw Badger Hargett, who's a walk-on punter, rotate in, holding with the ones as well. So we are seeing a little bit of competition maybe there, maybe just making sure that they feel good. Man, I tell you, Grant Chadwick hits it a ton. He boomed a 65-yard punt. In addition to kicking the long punts, they are also working on rugby-style punts. And I'll tell you, the 65-yarder, he hit it over Berrien Brown's head and angled it toward the corner to where there wouldn't have been a return. He can hit it a ton. As far as injuries or absences, Jakeem Jackson once again was dressed but not participating. We told you yesterday, looks like he's got a hamstring injury at kinesio tape all in the back of his leg, and he was just riding the exercise bike, so he was not participating. Berrien Brown, who had a little bit of a foot ankle injury yesterday, he got it taped up during practice, finished practice. Same ankle was taped up again today, but he practiced fully, so nothing to be concerned with there. Nussmeier was out there again with the sleeve on his knee, so again, participating fully, nothing at all limiting him. He did everything in all the periods. So just a few of those takeaways. And I will tell you before we break and get into the play-by-play, so you can get a better sense of how the secondary and how the defense did on this day. We spoke after practice. We had media availability with players. We spoke to Trades Green, Bernard Gooden, Ashton Stamps were among the players. And Berrien Brown was the fourth. But Trades was interesting because he talked a lot about his weight. And what Trades told me is last year against Baylor, he played at 252 pounds. So he had gained a bunch of weight. So for the bowl game, he was at the 252. During basketball, he got all the way down to 219. So major. So, 30, almost 35 pounds he lost playing basketball. And so they wanted him to gain weight back. And he said right now he's at 245. He said he's gained 20 pounds since fall camp started. So it means he's gained 20 pounds in 2 weeks, which is remarkable. But he says he's eating 5 meals a day, but he feels comfortable at 245, and that's probably where he'll stick. So I'll put it to you this way. If you thought Trades Green looked good a year ago in the bowl game whenever he dominated Baylor, then don't worry about the weight gain because he's actually 7 pounds lighter now than he was in that bowl game. So just another for instance from one of the takeaways today in chatting with Trades Green in a one-on-one. Okay, let me stay on time, hit my elements. I'll knock out this very quick break, come back, and I'll give you the play-by-play of the 7-on-7 and the 11-on-11 periods, which are pretty interesting, which included the most spectacular play of the day from Zavion Thomas. We'll get to that next. Locked on LSU, your team every day. We've all been there, logging on early, waiting forever for concert tickets to go on sale, only to lose your spot for a show you've been dying to see. Live music should be about making memories, not dealing with the stress of ticket shopping. That's where Game Time comes in. Game Time makes getting concert tickets faster and easier than ever. Prices actually drop as it gets closer to showtime, and you can save up to 60% off with their killer last-minute deals. Remember, with Game Time, the price you see is the price you pay. There's no hidden fees, and I love that about Game Time because if you're like me, this has happened to you where you've gone to one of the ticketing apps, you see the price, you go to checkout, you think that's the price, boom, fees, and it's way higher. Not with Game Time. And if you're worried about what happens if plans change, the Game Time guarantee has your back with cancellation protection and so much more. So take the guesswork out of buying concert and show tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code LOCKEDONCOLLEGE for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem with the code LOCKEDONCOLLEGE for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest prices guaranteed. So when the media was let into practice on Tuesday, there was initially a scout offense against scout defense, and then there were special teams. Then they went into 7-on-7. And the first play, as we mentioned, was a drop from Caden Durham. The second play was a beautiful pass from Garrett Nussmeier for 15 yards down the right sideline to Aaron Anderson, where he had beaten his man in coverage and caught the ball for 15 yards. Nuss goes out. Michael Van Buren goes in. Van Buren runs 3 plays. On first down, beautiful pass breakup by Tamarcus Cooley on intended for Kyle Parker. Joe Sloan was ticked because Michael Van Buren took the underneath route, and he was yelling, go to the field, meaning go to the wide side. He wanted him going to the sideline, basically saying that Van Buren made the wrong read on this play. But either way, beautiful pass breakup by Tamarcus Cooley. Next was, and this has been Michael Van Buren's camp so far, a play that draws the ire of Joe Sloan. The very next play, he threads the needle down the middle to Zavion Thomas with P.J. Woodland draped all over him. So he went from a play that drew the ire of the coach to an absolute thread-the-needle dart in consecutive plays. Then began the sequence of the checkdowns. Van Buren checks down to Caleb Jackson. Nuss comes in for one play, checks down to Caleb Jackson. Colin Hurley comes in, check down to Harlan Berry, check down in the flat to Donovan Green. 1, 2, 3, 4 consecutive plays where they had to check down because the secondary was draped all over the receivers. Hurley then throws a beautiful ball to Trey'Dez Green. Green caught it between two defenders. The two defenders actually collided, trying to make a play on the ball, but Trey'Dez came away with it. And then beautiful pass breakup by DJ Pickett. It was intended for Jelani Watkins, and Hurley just kind of floated it a little, need a little more zip on it, and it allowed Pickett to close. And Jelani Watkins leapt for the football, and Pickett hit him right away. Jelani Watkins lost his helmet. The ball was knocked free. Great play by DJ Pickett. Nuss comes back in and runs 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. Nuss comes in for 6 more plays. Kyle Parker, they ran a quick slant, dropped, hit right between the 1 and the 2, dropped it. Another check down, this time to Juwan Johnson. Beautiful pass breakup by Mansoor Delane in coverage of Zavion Thomas. A play on the left side. It wouldn't be a slug, it would be a slant toward the sideline. Beautiful coverage by Mansoor Delane to get his hand in there and break up the pass. It was a pass intended for Barry and Brown, where Devon Keys, as soon as the ball got there, hit Barry and Brown, knocked the ball free. Again, the defense was all over the place in this practice. The final 2 plays for Nuss were a catch by Destin Hill for 8 yards over DJ Pickett. And then Aaron Anderson caught a ball, and this was a beautiful pass by Nuss. He threaded the needle between A.J. Halsey and Deshaun Spears, the 2 safeties. Beautiful play over the middle to Aaron Anderson. Then Colin Hurley came in, threw a pass on the left sideline to Philip Wright, who bobbled it about 3 times. Javen Toviano was in coverage. He was crossing from the right to the left sideline. He finally corralled it after bobbling it 3 times into the sideline. And then a drop from Teron Francis to end 7-on-7 was so uncharacteristic. Teron Francis, they call him man-child. He's the freshman out of Teron Francis, the freshman out of Edna Carr. They have him listed at 6'1", 207. He looks much bigger. He plays much bigger than 6'1", and he has made some spectacular catches, but an uncharacteristic drop there. They wrapped up practice with a couple of different 11-on-11 sequences, and the difference in this practice is normally when they go 11-on-11, we see them go 1s-on-1s, 2s-on-2s. They reversed it. They went 1s-on-2s in this situation. So the first was the first team offense against the second team defense. And they start at the 15-yard line. So it's a red zone sequence. The offense is playing 1st and 10 from the 15-yard line. They try to score. And this is where we saw the play of the day. 1st and 10, Zavion Thomas gets a handoff, tackle for loss, Patrick Payton, TFL for a loss of 3. So now it's 2nd and 13 from the 18. I'm sorry, it's second and 13 from the 18. Forgive me. Yes, sorry. I was just making sure I had my note right. They started at the 15-yard line, loss of 3. So it was 2nd and 13 from the 18-yard line. False start, Weston Davis. He's replaced immediately by Ori Williams at right tackle. Now it's 2nd and 18 from the 23-yard line. And this is where Nussmeier, he steps up in the pocket, and there was a clump of bodies in the middle of the end zone. And Nuss threw was probably an ill-advised ball. All I'm telling you is LSU videos every practice. This one is probably going to find its way onto social media. Like the LSU social media, they're going to clip this and put it in a reel somewhere. Look for it. You'll know the play immediately. Zavion Thomas, in the middle of the end zone, leaps with DJ Pickett in front of him and goes up, leaps into traffic, and makes the catch and wrestles it away from DJ Pickett for a touchdown. It was a wow play. The whole team went wild. Offense runs down to the end zone to celebrate. Again, an ill-advised play, ill-advised throw by Nuss, but it came up big time. And that's one of the themes that we've seen pretty consistently here in fall camp is the defense feels like consistently they're winning the majority of the reps, but the offense finds the chunk play, the explosive play, as Joe Sloan calls it. So the twos go in. For what it's worth, this was a change. DJ Chester was running second-team center, and we did see Cohen Eccles run first-team left guard. So remember, Eccles and Josh Thompson had been battling at right guard. Chester and Paul Mabinga had been at left guard. In this instance, Eccles ran, that's the O-line shuffle that's mentioned on the graphic. Eccles was first-team left guard. Chester moved to second-team center. It's the first time we've seen that, at least in this practice. So Michael Van Buren's at quarterback. First down, they throw a back shoulder pass in the end zone to Berrien Brown. PJ, there were officials, by the way. They throw the flag, pass interference on Woodland, who was beaten. He rips Berrien Brown's jersey. It's one of the things with PJ Woodland. He is handsy. He will grab your jersey, and they have flagged him a ton in this fall camp. So now it's first and goal. Happened in the end zone, so it's first and goal from the 2. Harold Perkins storms in for a TFL on a handoff to Caleb Jackson, but they call defensive hands to the face on a defensive lineman. So they move the ball to the 1-yard line, first and goal from the 1. They have Juwan Johnson in the Wildcat. Tamarcus Cooley comes up with a stuff, but they called an illegal formation penalty. So now it's first and goal from the 6. They intended for Tradez Green in the end zone. Nice coverage by Deshaun Spears. Again, nice day for the secondary. Second and goal from the 6 with Juwan Johnson at quarterback. They direct snap it to Caleb Jackson, who bobbles it, can't pick it up. There's a scrum, and Mansoor Delane picks it up, scoop and score for the defense. They're continuing to show these packages with Juwan Johnson. And this one was not Juwan Johnson's fault. This was a direct snap to Caleb Jackson that he couldn't handle, and it cost you 7 points going the other way. But you went from first and goal at the 1 to a scoop and score the other way. Again, a day that completely belonged to the defense. The 1s come back in there, and there was nothing doing. First down, they hand off to Caleb Jackson for 2 yards. Nice tackle by Ahmad Bro. Second and 8. It's a reception by Nick Anderson over Ashton Stamps for 5 yards. It's 3rd and 3. Nussmeier rolls to his right, looking for Aaron Anderson on the sideline. Beautiful coverage and a pass breakup by Ashton Stamps. And just like that, 3 and out for the first team. The 2s go back in there. As we mentioned, DJ Chester was at center. This was against the first team defense. On the first play, it's a run stuff for a loss of 2 yards. Harold Perkins got there first. Whit Weeks finished it off. Second and 12, Michael Van Buren scrambles for 6 yards. Now it's 3rd and 6. Donovan Green gets a reception for 8 yards to convert the first down. Very nice play on a 3rd and 6. So it's at the it's 1st and 10 now. There's Juwan Johnson runs for 1 yard, tackle made by West Weeks. 2nd and 9, Michael Van Buren draw for 1 yard. It's 3rd and 8. They look for Tradez Green, incomplete in the right flat, practice over. Again, the only touchdown that the offense scored during those periods, even in 7-on-7 today, was the ball that Nuss threw up for Zavion Thomas where he made the incredible play. This was a day dominated by the defense. And I'll reiterate this for those who wonder if there's problems with the offense. Garrett Nussmeier threw for 4,000 yards a year ago. Caden Durham is favored to lead the SEC in rushing. Aaron Anderson was your leading receiver in receptions and receiving yards. Zavion Thomas is back. Tradez Green is back. You bring in Bowersharp, Nick Anderson, Berrien Brown. You have got talent all over the field on the offensive side of the ball. The fact that the LSU defense is making as many plays as they are against this offense is encouraging, because the last 2 years when we've gone out there to fall camp, I could pull out my notebook, and maybe I'll do that one day. Maybe I'll just do a show and read you notes from last year's fall camp so you can see by comparison. Last year's fall camp was, the last 2 years, dominated by the LSU offense. The fact that the defense is winning reps and winning days and winning series is really encouraging for the progress this team is making here in year 2 under Blake Baker. The Tigers do practice again Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. We do not have availability Wednesday, Thursday. No word yet on Friday, Saturday. If and when we get that word and we're allowed to practice, I'll be there and I'll give you my notes on an LSU practice report. Hey, thanks so much for making us your first listen every single day. Do me a favor, if you would. If you're on podcast, please subscribe on your favorite podcast app. Rate us, leave a review. If you're on YouTube, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell so you're notified whenever we post a new video. And let a friend know if they love the Tigers. We got you here every single day for Locked on LSU, your team every day.